Exactly. Took a lot of effort to steal this.
Hey,
Alright, here is the
Julius isn't in
breakdown
this class.
of the talk.
Breaking the trust tree.
We don't have a kid, so he's not in the trust tree.
Neither is
He hasn't been
Angela.
initiated.
Neither is Angela.
She hasn't been initiated.
No, we got a problem here.
I trust Angela.
How do we get him involved in the trust tree?
I don't know.
I'll do anything.
Tell us the secret.
Tell us the secret. Yeah.
Secret.
Angela's an extension of my trust.
No.
She's not in the trust
I don't know.
Everyone needs to.
They have to join the blood circle.
Yeah.
One thing about yourself. Anything.
Something deeply personal.
Something that we don't know.
Vaguely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No, I agree with those qualifications.
One time I stuffed a bead up my nose and I couldn't get it out.
I'm sure that was uncomfortable.
A beat?
A bead.
A bead?
Like, you know,
Why?
I was 2.
Oh, come on. We all-
That's not.
It'd be funnier if you just
I'm
did
not
it.
done.
What about you have to do that right
He's
now?
like, I ain't finished.
It's up there right now.
No, I couldn't get it out. And so my mom, who's Filipino, so she's Asian, she was terrified. She was like, this is going to ruin my child's brain and she's never going to be smart ever. So she stuffed a feather up my nose and I like
Did it
sneezed.
tickle it out?
Yeah.
You
And I
sneezed out a
sneezed
bead?
so hard that it flew up to the roof, bounced down, landed in a like pot, and it's still there to this day.
I don't believe you.
You can't make that up.
You can't make that up.
Need
That's
the
a
proof.
sneeze.
You have
ever
to.
sneeze that hard
I
since?
don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it was the bead. It must have been.
You have to bring in the pot.
I just want to go get a feather and
big.
see what happens. Alright.
Julius. That's an interesting story. Oh yeah, I can tell. Yeah, okay. So this one time in ninth grade, wait, was it ninth grade or eighth grade? Okay, in ninth grade, I was just like eating my lunch, right, minding my own business, right. Then Vishal, he comes in here, just like taking my lunch, cause like Vishal's a pretty tall guy, right? And like I wasn't as tall as I am now. In fact, I was probably about like 5. I want to say like 5'8" or 5'9".
Oh, so short.
Yeah, that's pretty short for a guy. So anyway. Right here. Sorry, Kenny.
Right in
I mean,
the
just being
field.
honest.
Just being honest, trust tree.
Yeah. So I was just minding my own business. Vishal comes along. He decides to take my fruit snacks for no reason. I don't know. To this day, he doesn't explain why he did it though. He was just like,
Yeah, there's no explanation needed.
I just wasn't in a good mood that day, so I went up to him, literally like held him by the cuff of his shirt, right? And like Mrs. Grabowski, who was still working here at the time, she saw this and she was like, Julius Miller, and I was like, oh shit, because I thought like it didn't look like I was gonna like hurt Vishal though. I wasn't planning on it. Well, I don't know.
Were you like doing this?
They were
Here,
fruit
Vishal,
snacks.
like,
One arm
Yeah,
holding
let's
it.
do
Did you
it.
get the fruit snacks back?
I got the fruit snacks back.
Alright, so you didn't pass.
Yeah, I didn't.
Probably just to shove
When you have
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Mrs. Grabowski saw it, and then she was like, I am
Yeah.
very, very
Open the package when
disappointed."
it's done.
And then like afterwards, like I
We bought an entire box of them. My sister did like take to Girl Scout camp, and then our Girl Scout camp got canceled. So we had like a box of like 80 packages of fruit snacks, and they were gone for like 3 days. And I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
What?
I thought that was kind of funny though.
And McKenna packed an entire lunchbox full of them and brought them to school, and they're in her locker.
Alright. This is my
You have
last
won the
class
game.
with you. I will not be here tomorrow. I will be with Michael and Savannah, so we'll have a chance to chat next couple of days. Before I begin, I want to say what is a pleasure has it been to be your instructor. I don't know what we did over the past 6 months. It started off in one way and it completely ended up in a different direction. These are my 4 bullet points of the speech class notes, 4 shades of life, character of I, and basis. And before you guys think I'm going to talk negatively, I'm not, because there's a play on words in that one. I just learned what basis stood for.
It doesn't stand for it anymore.
Yep.
Got rid of the acronym.
Oh, did they really?
It's no longer an acronym.
It was a lame acronym anyway.
I just learned it yesterday, I think it was.
What was it?
Building academic standards in schools.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Building, right? Okay.
Breaking.
Breaking.
Generating.
What?
Generating.
Don't be smashing any cups of water.
With those silent
No, change it.
That was kind of cool though.
That-
Water was cool.
I was
I
like,
That was
shit, I
awesome.
didn't know it was gonna do that.
did not know it was going to spread out
I was
that
like,
far.
what did you think he was gonna do?
Stay stationary.
I knew it was going to, I didn't know it was going to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
I was-
I can stand in front of you now with one assurance. I'm unable to give you a type of answer, build into you any type of confidence, or direct you in any particular direction. For if I were able, it would simply be wrong. I can only give you then some of what I've learned, particularly from you, but also with my brief time here with you the past 6-7 months. I have been honored to have you in class, not as students, but as young men and women who will be casting out, as it were, into a new experience, one greatly different than the one you have had here. It is important to learn the lessons from not your time here at Basis, but from those who reside with you, who struggled alongside you, and who have, for better or worse, traveled as your companions on this wonderful journey. I will talk about class notes, 4 shades of life, the caricature of I and Basis. Class notes, and this comes directly from your presentations over the past 3 days. Do not hate, experience, live with words, including those unsaid, Ollie. For it would appear words do not do justice to feelings. After all, how does one experience and express one's deliverance? How does one describe love, dreams, fear, anger? Easy. Do not describe them at all. Live them fully and deliberately. A question was asked, are we scared of intensity? Perhaps we are, but again, the question is not about our intensity, but about our power, our strength, our ability to succeed when others cannot. Do not feel guilty. Inspired by moving forward. Do not hesitate. Call back only from the mountaintop. What I'm hearing is that a net has been cast upon you, not on your dreams, but as you as individuals. A net of expectations covered, guiding you, ensuring your place relative to others, but safe. For danger rests in dreams. Danger rests in dreams. It is not those who dream at night, those in life fear, but those who dream with eyes wide open. Not ashamed to be seen, bold enough to scoff at insults from those ill-prepared. Asked from unwelcoming seeds of nervousness and jealousy. Am I more ambitious, more mature from being at Basis? Listening, I found myself oddly puzzled at the implication of what was said. Is it worth my time and energy to pursue that which has no end? Is the basis of success purpose found conveniently, overtly in society, peeking over the fence of self-consciousness, trying to engage and guide like a Wilsonian tool-time voice, ever more becoming reliant on his suggestions and presence, for now ensuring me I will be and I am prepared. I become dependent on that voice. Let us not put off till a better environment, something that is designed to allow us to express ourselves, to be ourselves. However, not knowing though really how I will be doing that, at least not here, maybe tomorrow. More difficult to do, maybe tomorrow. For as I move forward, the stakes become larger, more important, more uncertain, less structured. Certainly, tomorrow. Forcing me to meet and settle those fears and questions, most certainly, tomorrow. Putting on hold, then for a better time, hopefully for tomorrow. Finding I am ill-equipped to address them completely, or simply not at all, for I'm afraid of tomorrow. It is not tomorrow, but today those answers come, not completely, certainly not neatly, or even understandably, but necessarily. Cleaning one's room, looking back, visiting myself again, asking, wondering, being ready to smile, cry, hopefully, to becoming. To become is to move, explore, venture out into the sea of ambiguity, taking harbor only when the tide takes me, because no energy is left to continue forward. To seek not a safe harbor in a storm, but to drive straight into it. For ironically, the storm is not to be afraid for as much as the harbor. The storm saves me, it moves me, changes me, removes me from those holding on to me. The safe me, finding I am the harbor of others because they themselves find themselves in a storm. Do not dock. Show me the way by being bold, for nothing in this world exists that causes fear. Shades of a good life. I have 4 shades. Number 1, contemplative. I am jealous of others because of my ignorance and my lack of getting it, to coming to terms with it, to accept it. It is life. Should I sit and wonder, to navigate through my mind the adventures of life, to play a game in my head, but miss out on the sweat, the tears, the fatigue, the exuberance of life? Should I rely on technology, which seems to lead me to a satisfied life and adapt? But it is not something missing. Yes. Active. Maybe I do not live in a vacuum. Maybe I go and do today, right now, to live without regret and not for tomorrow. How freeing, how satisfying, how cliche. By doing so, I'm not just scared to think, to find purpose, but for life is full of people who live for today, young, vibrant, strong, persuasive, yet sad, and perhaps foolish to their own lack of fears that grip on their consciousness. But is not something missing? Yes. Fatalistic. Is it written in the stars? Is it determined? Is my life already lived? Feeling foolish because I am the last to know, the last to find out, to understand. Others know me before I've come to introduce myself to myself. If life is already lived, then what is my part? Perhaps to understand, to arrest ill feelings, anxieties, and fears, wrestling them away, to rid them of the hold on me. Yes, what if my life is already lived? Does that not free me from the responsibility of getting everything right, correct, perfect, to please? Am I not free then to fail, and fail admirably and greatly, all the while charged with one important task? To simply understand, to stand under life, to see it from below, to meet it where it stands. But is not something missing? Yes. Hedonistic, or pure gratification. Do I seek out purely animalistic pleasure to avoid pain, maximize pleasure? But do I not then miss out on pleasure by avoiding pain? Or will I seek pleasure to such a degree it creates pain within me? What is the balance? Does the balance exist in today because I'm afraid of tomorrow? For it requires patience, understanding, steadiness. Or is it in you tomorrow because today blinds me with anxiety, uncertainty, fear of effort and failure? What should I do? Act today or wait for tomorrow? Act for what? Wait for what? It is the for, F-O-R, that scares us. Not today or tomorrow or the what. The for is purpose. For is knowing direction and end. Finding purpose then is the first order good. But is something then missing? Yes. What is missing then? Simply put, giving your life back. Not to give it back as if required or wanting to give it back as if good feeling is owed or expected onto you. No, to give life back because we are the receivers of it. To act boldly and courageously. That is not to act for self or self-recognition or even self-awareness. Take up arms, face the waves, knowing, fearing, yet exulting by the fact there is no time out, no time to paddle back in. You can't climb down, no retreating, for knowing in the end, self is merely a perception, often through agreement with others, convention from others, and wanting of acceptance from others. And that good life is reached when and only when we know it does not necessarily mean being happy, joyful, or simple all the time. That exhaustion, depression are commonplace to be accepted, and scars are to be a reminder of a life well lived and a life well used. 3, the character of I. In a world of iPhones, iTunes, iPads, iPods, one in which I is more dependent on the net cast onto us by others, from fear of change than on what we decide. For the world now is casting a new identity on you. It's a struggle. It's a new identity of you, me, us, one in which we are cemented in place, rarely changeable, movable, a self in which comfort of certainty is trophied. The I is the pieces that put together by others without our knowing, permission, or input. Oftentimes we like our labels. Oftentimes we do not. Either way, we are labeled not by what we decide, but what others decide for us. And is it not worse to accept to find satisfaction in those caricatures of myself, to tend to agree with them? For it is those that keep us implanted in place. In a world of niceties or vanilla language or neutered honesty, the self cannot improve, cannot mature, nay, cannot find itself for the drawing. Whether it be on a Las Vegas strip or words whispered into our ears, the result is the same. We are found wanting a basis education. The goal of society is to keep us from truth. It has to, in order for society to function well. The role of education is to liberate us from this opinion, the opinion of convention. Education is about building the self. Have you built a self you can be proud of here at Basis? Perhaps you will find yourself under the bureaucracy of schedules, supporting the trend that speaks loudly and convincingly social rewards and recognition that are becoming more important than knowing, and that knowing falls within the scope of social capital. And as such, the most efficient manner will eventually yield the largest reward. In other words, knowing becomes cheap, faked, unsellable. We now train our intelligence like we train our athletes. Students becoming academic equivalents of all American athletes. Whatever they demand, we do. The goal, the final score, the win, the success, the degree. If we want to believe is what moves us to change the world, then knowing how we come to a belief becomes essential, critical, to living rightly, boldly, deliberately, even romantically and compassionately. The basis of self cannot reside in a structure imposed and pressed upon us, hoping to shape a new type of individual, impervious to stress, needing affirmation, often through convention and easily identifiable symbols, raised to think stress that comes with more, 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 more. Is necessary and good without asking, or at least pausing to consider, more of what? A society with certain legal or market scale to determine value is difficult to imagine, but so is a society that has nothing else. In this legal world, the man who wants to make a change must move cautiously, timidly, looking about eyes, glaring, suspicious, if not determined, to squash at first opportunity change that becomes real. In the market, those wishing for change must look to sell, narrow the idea, make it digestible, generic, cheap, guiding the seller to lessen the price to selling the truth. The man is required, nay, forced, to be mediocre, flawless, watching the uptight, high-strung, and I suggest, ironic is it, of the critic for his next move, thought, decision will be my own. But should we be surprised, since that it is birthed, developed, nurtured, and honored in our educational system to critique versus create? In short, and in closing, advent your life. Perhaps chart a course to nowhere. But enjoy the trip, and remember, give it back and save nothing for the trip home. That's what I got.